But I've talked to, I mean, just the vast number of different types of nonprofits.
Right.
Oh, just that. And then talking to different consultants that do the same thing, that do all different things. And then talking to business leaders that have different skill sets. And then talking to people with the different skills to help fill in the gaps of what people
Yeah.
need to know. Like hosting a podcast has done more for my personal and professional development
That's
than
awesome.
anything else that I've done.
That's awesome. That's what I'm hoping this will do. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole reason I'm doing it, is just to provide resources so veterans know. So, because there's a lot of vets out there that want to help people, you know, but they're like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to start a nonprofit, but I don't know, like, I don't know how to start. I don't know where to go, what to do, where I
Yeah.
need to, how I need to file it. How do I do a 501(c) or 501, whatever the case may be, wherever you're at, you know? And
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing, is just veterans trying to figure out what's going on. How do I go about starting this? How do I go about doing this? You know, and this is where you come to play.
Wonderful day. Wonderful day. Ain't stressed about nothing right now, cause everything's straight. I'm feeling so grateful, thanking my maker for this wonderful day.
Good evening, guys. It's Sergeant G here from the Stone Vet. It's my honor to bring on Mr. Travis here. He is a Navy service member. He has an organization called the Nonprofit Architect. He has been working with people, organizations to either establish a nonprofit or to consider working with somebody who's already started a nonprofit. I brought Mr. Travis on here just to be able to talk to us veterans, since he told me, he's like, I'm not a veteran yet because he's still active duty Navy. So I brought him on board to be able to assist us, to help, you know, some of us consider starting nonprofits. Some of us may not even know that, hey, you can actually go to other nonprofits and help them build your mission, what your mission is. There's other people out there already establishing the mission that you've wanted to establish, and it's already going. And what he does is try to help you find and establish yourself in the nonprofit world. So, Travis, how you still liking being in the Navy, active duty, man? Tell us veterans what it's still like to be active duty right now. We hear all these horror stories that everything's been changing. The military's changing. It's not the same military as it was when you first joined, you know?
Well, it is different. You know, I joined in 2000, so I've been in over 20 years, and to go from being an E1 to an E6 and then crossing over to the dark / better paid side as a commissioned officer, now an O3E, it's vastly different. You know, when I messed up as an airman, working on ejection seats in Lemoore, to, you know, conversations I have now, like last December, I was briefing the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff as he was on our watch floor, 5th Fleet headquarters in Bahrain. So, I mean, who knows? Who knows where you're going to be? Who knows what you're going to be doing? And then, of course, COVID has everything messed up with movements and personnel problems and all sorts of weird, crazy stuff. But
absolutely, man.
Still a ride.
Said, last week I had on Coach Monty, and he's a retired E7 out of the Marine Corps, and he told me, he's like, dude, it's bad. It's changed so much. Like it's so drastically changed so much. Like everybody's all, you can't do this no more. You can't do that no more. You can't talk to these people like this anymore. And I was like, people? I said, man, these are Marines. These ain't just regular people, you know. These are Marines. It's not like I'm talking to a civilian anymore. And he's like, no, dude. He said, yeah, they took out knife hand. You can't knife hand people when you talk to them anymore. I was like, oh my gosh. I know you being in the Navy, you on the wing side. So I mean, I don't know how often you play with Marines anymore, you know, being on the wing side. But just to be able to sit around and just see how it's like now. I mean, you a commissioned officer now, so it's like, oh, watch out now. He's a commissioned officer. We gotta be professional. We can't be talking the way we talk when we're in the enlisted side. You know how that is, you know. And so you transitioning over to be a commissioned officer now. I'm sure life has changed completely from enlisted to commissioned officer side with what you're doing now.
It has in some aspects, and it hasn't in other aspects. You know, I'm still around people that went from instead of just right out of high school into the military, they went right out of high school, right into college, right into the military.
Right.
And I mean, you still have that same mentality, and people that are young and single are going to do young and single things. People that are married are going to try to do married things, and
right.
There's people that are going to get in trouble no matter what your rank is.
No matter what, it don't
for
matter
doing for doing different things. The biggest difference I see is in the paycheck twice a month.
Yeah, I bet. I bet that paycheck looks a lot better now.
I was looking, so I kept like an LES from when I was an E1 because I had no kidding was an E1. It took me 7 years to go from E1 to E6, but I didn't make.
That's not bad, man. That's not bad. You know, it took me 6 years to go E1 to E5. It took me 6 years to go E1 to E5. You joined a year before I did. I joined the Marine Corps back in 01 is when I joined.
Yeah.
But yeah, it took me 6 years to go from E1 to E5, man. I was like, this sucks.
I had a chip on my shoulder. Every day I was doing something to get myself promoted. My childhood was straight, hot dog water. So if I could have control over my own life and my own situation, that's what I was doing. Like from day one, I was figuring out how to make chief, how to make E7 in the Navy. I got married pretty young, and when you take care of a family, you only got 2 opportunities a year at max to get promoted.
Right.
I took those opportunities to heart and went for it.
Especially having a family, like, it's not about me no more. I got to make sure I can provide for all my kids.
No, people are like, oh yeah, I'm not studying for this test. I'm like, good, because I am. I want you to do poorly, and I want me to do
so
well.
I get promoted.
I'm not saying that to be,
no, not at all.
Kind of joking a little bit, but I'm like, it doesn't matter what you guys do and say you do. Like, I have to do things so I can get a good, eval or fit rep, and I've got to make sure I'm studying to get
you got to make sure you take care of yourself. I had one Marine, man. He was a stud, man. He was expert rifle range, 300 PFT, freaking had all his MCIs were done. He was a black belt Marine Corps Marshal. Like, he was maxed out. Like, he maxed everything out, and they kicked him out. They kicked his ass out after 8 years. He did 8 years, and they kicked him out because there was no promotion. They said his MOS had closed out and they weren't promoting anybody else. And they said, you have to go. You did 8 years and you can no longer, because he was only in E4 at the time. Yeah. They said, you got to go. And he's like, all this I did for you guys, and this is what you did to me. You guys just kicked me out after 8 years. I'm excellent. I'm expert rifle, expert pistol. I'm 300 PFT. I got all my education, all my PME is done. Everything that's required for me to get promoted is done. But because you closed out my MOS and said that we're not promoting anybody, I got to go. I got to find a new life. I got to find a new meaning to life, and trying to fit it.
It's a huge shame that happens. There's huge rifts in the military. There was an ERB that really violated the trust between, the sailors and, the Navy as a department. They just went through and said, all right, we're cutting all you guys, go home. We don't care.
Damn.
Now, I mean, I had really good friends, someone I went to high school with, and we joined together. He got ERB'd out. Now he's working for Intel, computer chips, doing robotic stuff down in Phoenix, which is great for him.
Right.
He enjoyed, the Hilo Navy in San Diego, but he was stationed with me for a little bit, and he wasn't interested, and I don't blame him. But who knows what the Navy is going to do, and that's part of the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. I did 16 years financial planning and things. I started Warriors Vault and helped 400 families pay off $6 million in debt.
$6 million in debt?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me, how you do that, man?
It's a pretty easy principles, and we can jump into that if you want me to.
But that's just the different resources that you're doing here with the nonprofit architect. You've been out in the nonprofit world. You've been helping like I mentioned earlier, you've been helping nonprofits that are out there.
Yeah.
Their mission, right?
Absolutely. I got involved a couple of years ago, and we'll just jump back to the beginning. So before I graduated high school, I did 36 moves, 12 schools, 6 states, 5 foster homes. I survived 2 murder attempts, and I got in serious trouble with the law before graduating high school at 17.
Golly, man, you grew up in the hood, like you was.
Do you know how painful it is getting thug life lasered off your knuckles? Let me tell you, I have no idea. I just assume it's terrible. Anyone that's met me is like, you weren't hardcore. I'm like, no, I wasn't. I never was.
It's your story, though. I mean, people are going to look at you and they're going to say, hey, look, this is how I see you. But you're like, well, that's good then. I'm putting up a good facade for you to believe that I was raised like a good person. You coming up with the crazy background that you had, I mean, Almost murdered twice? Come on now. I mean, you associate with some bad people, right?
Both people were in my family.
Oh, man, even worse.
Yeah, even worse, right? You can't get away from them. Yeah, but through all that time and through all that garbage, there was always some person, some group, some organization, some nonprofit, some church that was willing to help us stay fed, clothed, and sheltered for most of it. And I didn't know a whole lot. I didn't know I didn't know that everyone else wasn't moving like I was. Like, what do you mean you've been in one house your whole life? They're like, it's insane. They're like, no, you're the insane one. Like, it has nothing to do. Yeah. But you don't know what you don't know when you're that age and you're young. And
yeah, absolutely.
I joined the military about a year after high school. I graduated in '99. I was busy working 3 jobs. I was waking up to go open up Burger King as a shift supervisor, then drive across town for the lunch hour to work at the bowling alley. And up north in Minnesota, where I'm from, bowling alleys are a destination. Like, they have the best food in town.
Do they?
Yeah, like hand-spun malts and shakes. We had the soup of the day, make pizza. We had Philly chicken, Philly steak, like really amazing food. Yeah, up north, in the north half of the U.S., like bowling alleys are a place to go.
Are they really?
Down south, they're like, it's just a bunch of fried garbage and like
up north, fried wings or something.
Yeah, up north, like half the year you're frozen, so you got to have some place to go.
A place to go, right? Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's just weather based. But
so you're gonna stay in Oklahoma now, though, ain't you?
Yeah, I've been here 18 years of my career.
Yeah.
Well, really, 16, I guess. I got here in 2002 after my tour in Lemoore. And then I came here for a 5-year tour to fix airplanes, like the one behind me, the E6B Mercury.
That piece out, my gosh.
And then I went across the parking lot to teach people how to work on a jet. And I got accepted to the Seaman to Admiral program. And I went to the University of Oklahoma for a year and a half to get my degree done. And then I took a year away because I went down to flight school in Pensacola, finished up flight school as a naval flight officer. And the CEO there, who knew me from before, he's like, "You want to go back?" I was like,
"No,
go back to the middle of the country. Only
no
going to deploy in the U.S. I already know people there. I already know the jet." I got like, yeah, I'll go back.
Why not go, right?
Came back, got stationed here, went to a deploying tour for 3 years, became a mission commander and instructor and all that fun stuff on a $500 million nuclear command and control aircraft.
Of course, right?
Right. And then I went across the parking lot again to teach the new guys coming in how to fight the jet, how to fight the weapon system.
Right.
And then I did 3 months up at Newport, Rhode Island at the War College, learned how to do maritime operational planning, and went out to 5th Fleet headquarters on the watch floor and became the watch floor supervisor, the Fleet Command Center director. Was in the planning shop, and I got to do all the briefs. So our 3-star that was there, the 2 separate 1-stars that were there, and then when the chairman of Joint Chief Staff came out, General Milley came out last December. I got to brief him too. So, and then I came back here to do a wing job and run the watch floor here. So.
And look at that. And from where you came from where you were raised and where you came from, you're looking at yourself now like, why did I get this opportunity to be able to do stuff like this? Like,
by the numbers, just going into a foster home once, by the numbers, I shouldn't be here. I should be in some gutter somewhere with needles hanging in my arms, kids from 3 or 4 ladies. And I really only made 3 good decisions. I found Jesus, I found my wife, and I found the Navy. And some of you are like, well, why did you go Navy? I was like, first off, I'm not carrying all my crap everywhere I go. I'm not getting shot at. I'm just not interested. Right? That's just not for me. Some guys love it, and it's okay that you love it, but I ain't got to love it. So then I went and talked to the Air Force. They were going to talk to the Air Force, walked in and like, you look kind of thuggish. What's your criminal record? I was like, and they're like, is it more than a parking ticket? I said, yes. And they were like,
nope.
Goodbye. So Navy, here I come.
Navy said, we'll take it.
Did the ASVAB, and they tried to talk me into going nuke. And I'm like, man, I like the blue sky just a little bit too much. And like, we sure you can't convince you? I said, not interested.
I will give you $100,000.
They offered me a good chunk of money, and I just did not want to live that life.
Like,
and
no,
decided to be an ejection seat guy.
Your family don't know anything else than here then for home, huh?
Well, I mean, my family, my wife.
Like your wife and your kids and stuff.
Well, my wife and I went to high school together.
Oh, okay. So she's like,
Yeah.
man, why are we going back
Yeah,
to
we've been
Oklahoma?
married for 19 plus years right now. But my kids were both born here in Oklahoma City. And
Okay.
other than that year in Pensacola, they've been here the whole
Whole
time.
time, so they don't see anything. This is home. This is home for them. They
Yeah.
ain't see nowhere else. You know. Your
Yeah.
wife talk about let's move back. Let's move back.
There's nothing to move back for.
Oh no.
With the stuff that I'm doing, and I mean, it's like a town of 12,000 people. There's nothing like there for us.
Oh, okay. So you're
I
good here
mean,
because you're established. You've been here, like you said, what, 18 years? I mean, 16 years. I mean,
yeah,
you got friends, you got family. I don't know how you make friends, but you got it here. You've been here for so long. You know, that's one of the things we talked about in my last show. I told my wife's like, you need to make more friends. I said, I'm almost 40 years old. I ain't got the slightest clue how to make friends, dude.
I just go.
I just
I
go.
show up. Like
Yeah.
I got to a point where I was like, man, I kind of feel like this is home. Is this home? Is what home feels like?
Right.
What do people like? Am I part of a community? What do people in the community do? Like I had no idea. So
Right.
I started asking around, and people are like, well, they give money, they volunteer, they serve on boards of nonprofits or on business, and they get their name on a plaque of some wall somewhere saying they donated money. I was like, okay, I want to do this stuff.
I want
That's
to
how
do
I'd be part of a community, right?
right. And
And
so this
before I knew it, a couple of weeks in, I got asked to be part of a book. This one's on Walk with Warriors. The primary author is Shannon Whittington, but it's 22 vets telling their stories. And I'm in here, number, I don't know, page 231 of this book. And I was like, this is a really cool mission. You're helping veterans and first responders tell their story. That's awesome. How can I help? Do you need money? Do you need time? Do you need a board member? What do you need? And she's like, well, we always need money. And we want you as a board member. So I signed up to help them with their mission. And before you knew it, we had published our second book, Resilient Warriors, which is 22 women telling their stories of military service. You want to read some gut-wrenching, off stories?
I'm working with a girl right now. She was the Air Force. She helped change the UCMJ for MST.
Yeah,
it's
horrendous.
Like, oh my gosh, dude! Like, she's like, yeah. She said, you won't believe the crap we got to deal with. And then she's like, there's another girl that she's trying to hook me up with, and then Ruth Moore. She was helping the Ruth Moore Act, you know. And I was like, I said, I believe it, you know. I don't doubt it. I mean, you hear about it all the time. I mean, you hear about the crap that the female service members go through, and you're just like, I looked at it, I was like, damn, they get whatever they want. Everywhere I went, they got whatever they want. And I was like, why are you getting all this luxury to go sit inside when it's 130 degrees outside, you know? Or why can't you bust your knuckles with me when I'm out here replacing the diesel engine, you know what I'm saying? But I hear that she told me her story. I was like, I'm sorry. Like, that's nobody should ever have to go through what you went through. Like,
it's hard to believe some of this stuff, not because it's not true.
No,
because I just don't feel this way. Like there's nothing in my being that would have me treat another person this way.
Right, exactly.
All the crap that I've went through. People are like, oh yeah, they talk about how bad racism is, and like my world inside my head, I'm like, what are you talking about? Everyone's wonderful, because I just don't feel that way. I don't think that way. That's not within me. But when I sat back and take a look at what's going on, I can see it.
Yeah, you see it, yeah.
But I just don't feel it, because I'm like, this has never occurred to me to treat anyone poorly just because they don't look like me.
Listen, you know, let's break the commercial break. We want to thank Rafa for being our sponsor on the show.
We would like to give a huge thanks to Rafa 180 for being a sponsor. Rafa 180 offers pure medicinal CBD. They walk alongside individuals to achieve a healthy lifestyle with options needed by each person. You can learn more about them on Facebook at Rafa CBD, their website www.rafa180.com, or email at rafacbd@gmail.com. They truly believe your journey matters.
Hey, and we're back. Thanks to Rafa 180 for being our sponsor here on the Stone Vet. If you want to be a sponsor for the Stone Vet, help us get the word out. You want your satellite time so you can get the name out there of what you're doing, how you're helping the community, or just, hey, you got to build business, right? During this whole COVID pandemic, man, businesses are hurting. Hey, if you want some satellite time on the Stone Vet, I'll put the description down below. You can email me. I have all that information in the description. We're back here with Travis. Are you providing for people who are wanting to start nonprofits or wanting to assist with nonprofits? What kind of information can you provide them? What kind of resources are you providing for people wanting to do a nonprofit?
Yeah, well, we'll talk a little bit more how I got started. So I was on the board of Books by Vets, and then got invited to be on the Shine Foundation. And after just It was like 2.5 years. We had given 20 grand of our own money. I had volunteered more than 1,500 hours. I'd served on the board of 2 nonprofits, and we helped raise more than $500,000. And we also built a memorial out in Crystal Lake on the west side of Oklahoma City for the gal who started the Shine Foundation, Safari McDoulet. She was killed by a drunk driver a number of years ago, and it's all detailed out on the monument out there. But, I got stationed in Bahrain, and I was like, how am I supposed to do all this nonprofit stuff? How can I still connect with the people and do the good stuff?
Right.
And the idea came to start a podcast because what I had been consuming and learning in pursuit of helping people with Warriors Wallet and all the business stuff that I was consuming, and then serving in nonprofits and realizing how similar they are and how everything crosses over. I did some research and I looked around, and there was no one really talking to start up nonprofits. There's not a lot of money in it. So people don't want to invest their time or resources, especially, startup businesses are rough anyway.
Yeah.
But to add all the laws, rules, and regulations on top of that to a startup nonprofit, like, the failure rate's astronomical. So I wanted to talk to people. I want to talk to nonprofit leaders, business leaders, consultants, and then people with the skills to help nonprofits do a thing. It could be marketing, branding, how to use social media, how to monetize Facebook Lives, how to sell T-shirts and different swag, and like all those little things that generally speaking, someone goes into the nonprofit world and they just have a big heart and a big vision and they want to start and do something well. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you don't know how to run a nonprofit, and you also have no business experience, and you also don't have any contacts that you can use to ask for money or to ask to be on your board, man, you're going to have a heck of a time getting this thing rolling.
Yeah, because I just learned when you start a nonprofit, you have to have a board. You got to have at least 3 people on the board, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, from day one.
From day one.
And what some people do is they get their spouse and like their Aunt Irene that's not anywhere near to say yes and sign on the dotted line, and then they try to run everything themselves and they become this solo shop. And it's not exactly legal, and it's not advisable. It's not advisable because there is so much stuff to do to get a nonprofit up and running. All the incorporation paperwork, to actually get your nonprofit, and then to file your 501c3 status and make sure all of those ducks in a row.
Yeah, you got like an attorney just to do it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So like something that we're working on right now, which hopefully will be live in the next 2 weeks here, is we're putting together a nonprofit in a box that has all the startup paperwork that you need, examples of real life nonprofits, and they've shared their documents to show you how to fill out this paperwork without needing a lawyer up front, without having to pay some consultant, thousands of dollars to get this stuff going, or not have to traipse all over the internet to find these things, because there's a lot of resources out there. Some of it's free, some of it's paid for, but it's not all in one place.
Right.
So convenience fee of having it all in one place, you're gonna get the startup documents available. And then for those that are like, look, I've already got my nonprofit, I don't care. Do you have this list of like 80 policies and procedures that we've gotten from other nonprofits? So we're gonna have that available too, to make sure that you're covering stuff. Because if someone comes up to you and says, hey, I love what you're doing, I wanna gift you some stock that I have. Do you have a policy in place to know how you are going to accept that stock option as a in-kind donation? Chances are you don't. Some people right now that are watching this or taking notes are like, oh man, I didn't have any idea.
I had no idea. I didn't know how to do all that, right?
But it's okay. But we're putting those documents, we're going to have those available so you can get them, so you're not caught legally with your pants down.
Right. And it's not just for, and it's for people who know people who are running nonprofits that, hey, did you know about this? Did you know you're supposed to have all this information whenever you run a nonprofit? Are you guys in regulations? Are you doing some behind some pocket picking from another pocket, getting the information from somewhere else? Or what are you doing,
There's someone right now in Colorado, I don't know their name, but they are suing websites for not complying with the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, because it doesn't meet the guidelines set out for online use. They're online only. You would think with disabilities, you immediately think handicapped as in, crutches or wheelchair, right? But how about those people that are colorblind?
Or
Can they
deaf.
see your buttons? Can they see the things you're trying to get them to? How about the people that can't read? Do you have pictures?
Get out of here,
Things like
dude.
that. Yeah, absolutely.
Get outta here. So they're gonna like sue like everybody, huh? Because there's gonna be, I mean, how many websites do you think are in compliance with the ADA standards? Like
A percentage that's less than half.
less, right? Exactly. You know,
Yeah.
so even the big names, you know, even the big name companies that are out there, I guarantee you aren't within compliance either. You know, it'd be hard to, like you said, 0.5%, you know, that are in compliance with the ADA, because you don't think about that stuff. You don't.
No, if that's not something that's ever affected you, that's probably not on the top of your mind. Like,
Exactly.
you know, someone that hasn't dealt with foster care, like they know it's a thing and it's out there, but their day-to-day mind, it just doesn't come up.
You know,
It doesn't come up in a lot of random conversations.
they don't think about what's the process of actually getting into this and actually doing it.
They're not thinking about the process. You're not thinking about, you know, the kids aging out of foster care that have never had anyone to take care of them. They're not thinking about all this, and not because they're bad people, but because they just haven't come across this, and that's not part of their experiences. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, because it's just like anything. If you're not aware of it, you're not gonna. If it's not of interest to you, you're not gonna dig around to look into it. If it's not of any interest, you know. But what you're doing, people want to do it. People, like I said, people want to start nonprofits. Like you said, what's the percentage you were saying? How many nonprofits are in the U.S.?
There's like 2.5 million nonprofits in the U.S. right now, and you veterans listen, you're like, oh, well, there can't be that many veteran organizations. There's like 52,000 veteran service organizations in the U.S. right now. 52,000.
That's a lot, man.
And when you think of like American Legion, VFW, and disabled or DAV, right?
Yeah.
Past those three, you can maybe think of a couple of them, right? Like Irreverent Warriors, Wounded Warriors, and some others. But chances are you can't name 10. So in your mind, you're like, oh, there isn't that many. There's 52,000. And people get some mixed reactions when they talk to me, because a lot of times I tell them not to start a nonprofit.
Yeah. Why you tell them why? Why you get into why you tell people, why start a nonprofit? Understand how much work goes into a nonprofit? You know?
First off, it's impossibly hard.
Right.
You have all the paperwork you got to get together. You have to get the board together. You don't own it, right?
Yeah.
No one owns a nonprofit. The board is responsible to the community for executing your mission.
Right.
And they're responsible to the IRS for making sure they fall within the guidelines, right?
Right.
But you as an individual don't own it. So if it's your vision, as soon as you sign the dotted line that says, yep, it's a 501c3, it's no longer yours.
Dang, see? People don't think that. People don't think about that.
They don't think about that. So if they want to have control, and that's the thing that they care about, then starting a nonprofit is not for you. If you want to have an impact, if there's something bugging you right now that you absolutely have to help, go help. Figure out what's going on in your community. Find who's doing something similar to what you want to do or doing what you want to do, and volunteer.
Right.
Try to sign up to be a paid employee. Help them in whatever way possible. You can help them by giving them money, donating, volunteering your time, volunteering your network, your services, volunteering to be on their board. There's a million different ways you can help out that don't involve you going through all the pain of starting a nonprofit.
Man, yeah, because what you're talking about, how you actually doing a package for people to say, hey, look, here's 2 packages you can get from me and my team to help you start a nonprofit. That alone is just frightening, just to be like, there's packages that got just to help me.
There's so much stuff out there. And what we're trying to do with a nonprofit architect, we're trying to put together something that's available for everyone in the spectrum, right? So right now you can go on nonprofitarchitect.org or my link tree, linktr.ee/nonprofitarchitect. It's got all my links in there.
All your links.
It's got my website, my bio, my headshot. You can hear the story that I told about my background. You can go read if you want to cry. Don't cry on your keyboard, because there'll be a lot of tears coming. You can find my Facebook and my YouTube and all that stuff all under one link, which is fantastic.
That's good.
But we've got that for free. We're launching a mastermind right now for $50 a month. And if you come in on the initial grouping of people, your price will never go up. Consultants are in the range of $250 an hour to packages up to $15,000 or $20,000.
Golly, man.
Yeah, I'm working on book number 3 that'll probably be out next summer. to walk you through a story of what it looks like to start a nonprofit, and it answers all the startup questions. Like, how should I do this? How do I know it's the right thing to do? What's going on in my town? How do I get the, it answers all those questions in a story fashion, like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, not like one of these old textbooks. That's not like, it's not like this. It's going to be a story. It's going to be something that's readable, relatable,
an easy read or relatable, so people can be like, oh, I can relate to
read,
that.
so people can go through it. But like I've got my consulting that I sell, but most people, it's not in their wheelhouse. They start these nonprofits, and I talk to like 5 veteran nonprofits in the same week, and they're all doing like hunting trips or fishing trips or outdoor adventure trips. And all of them said the same thing, and it really broke my heart. They're paying for all this stuff out of pocket. No one on their organization is making a salary, which means it's not sustainable.
Damn.
Right. It's not sustainable. They have no money set aside in their budget for consultants or learning of any kind. Right. You've got your executive director, which is your CEO of your business, of your nonprofit. You better believe corporations spend tons of money to make sure that their guy is trained, to make sure their staff is trained. Think about what you did in the military.
Right.
You did training.
Right.
Oh my God, you did training. You did so much training, you wondered if you were ever going to do anything but train.
Right, but train. That's it. Right.
So you're going to start a nonprofit and not have any training for your staff or your volunteers?
Right.
They have no money set aside in their budget for training or consulting. They're not reading on their own. And I've got, you can't see, it's below the line here, but I've got a bookshelves full of books that I've been through over and over and over again, because I know that I need to have those skills to be able to help other people. And nonprofits are not reading, and not even that. They're driving 3 hours to a hunting trip. They're not even listening to my podcast on the way. You can listen to me and some other guru tell you exactly what you need to hear. But what we're doing with this mastermind is we're getting nonprofit leaders from all sectors to come in and help each other grow. This is a big thing in business. They do it all the time. It's one of Napoleon Hill's 13 principles that he teaches in Think and Grow Rich. The mastermind concept says, hey, maybe I don't have the answer, but maybe Sergeant G does. Or maybe Sergeant G knows someone that has my answer. And
that's the biggest thing, That's why I'm doing the Stone Vet, is that resources. Especially when you want to start a nonprofit or you want to help a nonprofit, what kind of resources can you bring to them, or what kind of resources are out there that you are aware of? Can you help them with the resources? Like with you doing the nonprofit arts, you're providing resources. If people listen to your podcast, there's limitless
things out there. We have guests on my show. First, if you only listen, right? If you just listen, this week you would have heard from Elizabeth Pampalone, and she walks you through 5 days of branding. In 5 days, she revamps your whole entire mission, which could be for business or nonprofit. By the way, just about every episode crosses over between business and nonprofit. Just about every single one. There's some, like grant writing, it's pretty nonprofit specific, right?
Yeah.
But most of them apply to both business and nonprofit. So take a listen. Elizabeth Pampalone walks you through branding, how to make sure you're on target with your brand. She helps you write a year's worth of social media posts in a day, how to write a year's worth of blog posts in a day.
What?
It shows you just how easy it is. And in her link, she's got tools, free tools out there. You go to this link and you can see all the stuff that she has available for free. Really, she's just compiled a great list with links for you.
If you listen to my episode, definitely have to look at that. Man, God, I have to look at that, man. I didn't know that. Well, that's what we're trying to do. Brand Rafa 180. What's our brand? What are we doing? Right now, like I said, we had to close down the storefront. COVID killed us like every other freaking business is killing right now. And we transitioned everything to online. So we got a great team building our website and just making sure they hit it. They're running our Google ads to see if we can hit it, because we deal with medicinal CBD, and that's still it still has that facade of it's a drug, it's an illegal substance, you can't, and so Google and everybody else plays around and they're like, you can't advertise that because it's not a good, because it's hemp. We can't advertise for that.
They just authorize CBD use for the active duty military.
Yeah, and right, especially for you guys. I just read an article about the Navy said, no, you can't use CBD at all in any kind of manner, and I'm just like, hey, they need to hurry up. Congress need to hurry up and legalize this crap and just call it good, dude. I said it's Congress that put the ban on the damn thing.
But you did mention something. You mentioned Google Ads. If you were running a nonprofit, there's such a thing called the Google Ad Grant, and I have an episode with Preston.
Oh man, see, you got it all, man. You're
He
like
walks you through how to apply for and get and utilize the Google Ad Grant, which is $10 grand a month, free
A
Google
month?
ads a month. So $120,000 a year. That's your whole marketing budget right there for you for free. And
You just have to know how to write it, though, right? You just got to know how to write
you
the
gotta know how to
paper.
write it. So he used to work for Facebook, and then he went on his own as an independent contractor, and he got rolled up in the Trump campaign. And we all know how great Trump did with Facebook and Google ads last time around. And then he got to do the digital stuff for the inauguration. But he walks you through how to do all this, and he gives you a little PDF guide so you can follow along and do it yourself too.
Man, who's that? That's what I gotta do. Getting into something like that, man. Doing
Preston
stuff like
Cohn, he's on my podcast site.
So with your nonprofit, is this yours or is this a team? Are you guys a team that have created this nonprofit architect?
I've got a team that helps me do all sorts of fun stuff, and I have a fantastic network of friends and experts that I love dropping in, giving tips, giving freebies, and showing people just how to do stuff. Like if you hopped on facebook.com/group/nonprofitarchitect, you would see like the 30 downloads that we have available for you just to go take and steal at your will. That walk you through how to do this, that walk you through fundraising, how to trade swag for donations every single month. We've got a guy, Vincent James, that he runs Keep Music Alive, and he got Julie Andrews to promote his cause. And
get out of here, man.
He tells you in the podcast episode how you can do it for you. And he's got an email template that he uses to contact celebs to get them on board with his stuff.
That's crazy, man. Really got Julie Andrews to come out there and help, man.
Yeah.
So you're like the whole package. So that's the biggest thing with the Stone Vet. You know, once we leave the military, you're good. While you've been in, you've been able to establish what you're going to do when you get out. You've already got your team established. You got your community. You've built your community around you. A lot of us, man, we do our 4 years, we do our 10 years, we do 40 years. And after service, it's like, what do I do now? I don't have no purpose, you know, because while you're in, you're told what to do, when to do, how to do it, why to do it, right? And
one of the reasons I encourage what I'm doing, not exactly what I'm doing, right? There's a something for everyone.
Right, absolutely.
Right? But do something for, if you're still in, if you're listening to this and you're still active duty, do something for you professionally every day and take care of the Navy or the military that's taking care of you. Do something for your own personal professional development and then your own personal development. Right. I joined the Navy at 18, a year after I graduated high school. I didn't know anything about finance, got myself eyeballs in debt, found Dave Ramsey in his program, right? If you were a train wreck, Dave Ramsey will help you build a fantastic foundation. He's not teaching you like how to trade stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, all that stuff. But he'll give you a solid foundation. And we took that information and employed it and paid off all our debt. And I did that when I was enlisted.
Wow.
Only debt I currently have, we're on baby step 6, which is pay off your mortgage. But like, there's no consumer.
Tough, man. It's a tough one, man.
We got 6 months worth of savings and emergency fund. Our kids' colleges are paid for. The only thing we have, and we're paying extra every month on our house to get our house payment paid off in a couple of years. So when my son graduates, not only are all the kids out of the house, but we also don't owe anybody any money.
Right, absolutely, and that's the biggest thing. So you don't want to own any. You know, I had a guy. He's a grower. He grows cannabis. You know, he's an excellent grower. He's organic, all natural. You know, young guy. He's only 26. He's a young guy, still trying to learn stuff. You know, he asking me pointers and stuff. I'm like, he's like, this is what I found. I just Google search, and this is what I'm finding. This is why, you know, in regards to interest rates and all kinds of stuff like that. I said, but dude, when you get into a business, you don't want to owe anybody anything, dude. It's not worth it, dude, because they're gonna want their money, and if you ain't providing and you're not producing, they're gonna get their money regardless. They don't care how, but they're gonna get their money. You know,
there's a great quote from Goodfellas. Oh, your business burned down? You pay me.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
You had a bad weekend? You pay me. Business slow? You pay me.
Pay me, right?
They don't care. But if you're still in, find the skill. Like we figured that out for ourselves, right? And then we started helping other people in the community, both in the Navy and at church and stuff, help them get themselves out of debt.
Right.
And we ended up doing it so long that I started a Warriors Wallet company. I ran a blog for a couple of years and helped 400 families pay off $6 million in debt.
That is
Now,
crazy.
whether or not I use that for a
It's
business,
crazy though, you know?
I have that skill.
Yeah.
And that skill that I've built, because degrees and skills are the two things that get you paid on the outside world. I have those skills.
Right.
I have the degree that the Navy paid for me. I have my master's. I got one thing left of my master's before that's done. Navy paid for that. I've got my EPA license, my universal license, because we used to have Freon on this airplane. So I can go work in that. But all these little stupid classes that you don't want to do, and if you're leaving work every day, every night, every weekend, and you're drinking your paycheck away, you're only setting yourself up to not
fail,
be
right?
prepared if the Navy or the military says, hey, we don't need you tomorrow. Sorry.
Yeah.
Grab your sea bag, take all your stuff, and go. Because that happens. It happens with a RIF. It happens in the ERB. It happened to your friend in the Marines. Not of any fault of their own.
No.
It's just the way that the cards fell. And if you're not prepared, if you have a ton of debt, or you've got a brand new vehicle, or you've wrapped that thing around a tree, or you haven't focused on your education or entrepreneurship at all while you're in, figure out something. There's so many things you can do, and there's people that work with you that are doing those things that would love to tell you about it, but the vast majority of the military people that I talk to, all they talk about is titties and beer.
That's
and
it,
those are
dude.
great
Because
conversations.
yeah, I mean,
They only last for so long.
Because
you
never.
want to talk about fantasy football and fantasy sports? Cool.
Yeah.
10 minutes from now, I'm ready to talk about something real, something that matters. Like, how are you doing with your family? What are you doing to prepare to get out? Or I'm looking to get out and get another job. Why?
Why?
Are you okay with getting up an hour before work, driving somewhere, working for some other jackass for 8 hours, driving back home to hope that you get time with your family? Or do you want to design what your day looks like?
Right, exactly. You know, and that's what I try to tell my son. He's 15 right now. And I told him, I said, dude, do something. Figure something out. Figure out what people want, similar to what you're doing. Figure out what they want and provide it for them. You guys have you have the nonprofit architect. You're creating packages to help people establish nonprofits to either begin or to assist with their nonprofits. You're providing a service that people need. You found what people need and you're providing that service. And I try to tell my son that. I say, you're 15. Let's do this now. Let me get you set up now so you can fail now at 15 instead of failing when you're 36, 37 years old, and you're just like, I don't know what I'm going to do in my life. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how I'm going about doing it. That's why I tell him, I said, I'm almost 40 years old. And I was like, I'm still trying to figure out what the hell I'm going to do. I go to work freaking 9 to 5 every day. I hate it every day. Like you said, you really want to get up and go to work for somebody else, you know?
Your son needs to mow lawns. I wrote a kid's book that talked about this.
Yeah.
In the story, there's a kid that wants, pick your era, right? They want new Chuck Taylors, they want Jordans, they want the LeBrons, whatever shoes that they want, and they just can't afford it.
Right.
Right. Your mom might pay you to mow your lawn, and you're like, this is great. I can ask all my friends, and you go ask your friends, and it turns out they got a kid your age that can mow the lawn. They don't need you.
Right.
Who's my target market? And you walk around and you just go door to door and you start asking people, say, hey, I see your lawn needs a little love. I've got the time. What do you think? $20, $40, whatever the number is, right? And
Absolutely.
you get some yeses and nos. And you do a great job.
Right.
Before you know it, the word is spread in your neighborhood or adjoining neighborhoods that there's someone that's going to come do it and do a good job. After school, you can get in 2 or 3 lawns if you do it right. On the weekends, you can get 10 or more total, and before you know it, you have enough money for your first car, for your pair of Jordans, pair of whatever you want to wear.
Right.
Or maybe you find out that you've got too much business. So you take some of the money you saved up, you buy a second lawnmower, and you hire your buddy, but you give him $10 a lawn while they're giving you 30.
Right.
So I'm a business owner, and you're making $20 off a lawn you didn't mow.
No, yeah.
So you buy a third lawnmower, and you get 2 more friends. All of a sudden, they're mowing all the lawns, and you're just going to find the people that need your service. People are like, mowing lawns, that's garbage, that's trash. Yeah. Well, in adult land, we call them landscapers.
Right.
And a really terrible landscaper makes like $200,000 a year.
Dang, man.
So you just go ahead and decide what that means to you, but don't stop pursuing. If someone needs their front porch painted and you can tell, go give them a quote and then come back and crush it. So they'll be willing to tell someone else, hey, they're not there. Leave a flyer on their door that says, hey, I'd love to help you out if you're interested in coming back. If not, I understand.
Right.
Maybe they're not interested in your help because maybe dad's coming back on the weekend and he can do it. He's going to take care of it just fine. But maybe they know somebody
right
who's going to need your services and they can refer you to.
I mean, with what you're doing with the resource, you're providing resources out there for anybody and everybody that will listen. Anybody that's needing help with anything, business, hell, if you're running a business, from what you're talking about, I'm going to have to go back on there and try to find that branding episode, figure out some branding stuff, you know? That's what we're trying to do, is establish the Rafa 180 brand, you know what I'm saying? I mean, we provide natural health, we provide natural remedies, and for people to go through, because people are scared of alternative medicine. You're just like, it's not alternative, dude. It's all natural. I mean, it was here before pharmaceuticals were here, you know? Yeah. And so to help people get an understanding of what Rafa 180 is and where the end goal is at, to create the brand, like you said, you know, a lot of people, I mean, you got 5,000 downloads, but you still got millions of people out there that still have yet to hear what you're providing, you know? And that's what you're trying to do, is reach out to people, let them know, hey, this is what I'm here for, and this is what I'm doing. I'm providing you resources to know, hey, you have a business, you need help with something. Look, I already got an episode. Look right here, listen to this episode. It's gonna help you, you know? And you're doing it for free. It's not like you're charging people to listen to your podcast, you know?
No, there's some people that do, and I'm not there yet. I don't know if I'll ever be there where I charge people to listen to the show, but here's the deal. You're gonna find the resources you need from me, or I'm gonna help you find the person that's got it for you.
Right.
Because I understand that I'm not the end all be all for everybody. I don't have all the answers. I'm just some dude.
I'm just some guy.
There's a lot that I do know, and there's a lot of places I can help you. But sometimes, like if you come to me for grant writing, I'm going to refer you to a couple of podcasts I've done with expert grant writers. And one of them, she actually teaches grant writing, and that might be the answer for you.
Yeah.
But if you sign up for the mastermind group, I'm going to have her come on and teach the group how to do it.
Oh, so, man, see, like that. Look at that. See,
her directly and pay her, I don't know, I'm making up another $700 to learn from her. Or you can give me $50 a month, and she's going to come in 1 month and teach you how to do it. And then the next month, Preston Cohen's going to come in and teach you how to write the Google ad grant. And then the next month, Elizabeth Pamplona is going to come in and teach you about branding and making sure all of your stuff's in alignment and how to set up a year's worth of social media posts or blogs in a day.
Get out of here. Do a year?
Yes.
A day?
Yes.
Man,
come check this stuff out. Help us fill the holes and the gaps in your knowledge. Maybe we'll find something you didn't even know you had, because it happens to everybody. And we're going to get you up and running, get you monetized. And I've got someone coming in that talks about if you have less than 5 income streams as a nonprofit, you're doing it wrong. If you just count it up yourselves and you got to 3, then you're going to need to listen to this guy come on and tell you about all the other ways to monetize what you're doing.
Right. And absolutely. And I think that's what a lot of people are blind to, because like you said, there's 52,000 veteran nonprofits out there. And how many do you think actually have 5 streams of income coming into that nonprofit, you know?
I've talked to a couple, but most of them that I talk to don't have any paid staff, and they don't have money set aside for anything. And it's really a shame. And it's not because you should or should not pay yourself, but if you're trying to pour your life into this thing, eventually you paying for all of your household stuff and the nonprofit stuff, you're just going to run out of steam. Hey, I appreciate being on the show today.
Oh, absolutely, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate everything that you're doing. I mean, you're doing it, man. You got your resources. You're doing it. And hopefully I'm hoping that it reaches the right people with my community and stuff like that, that people will see it and be like, I got to reach out. I got to look at this guy, look this guy up. He's doing stuff that he's got the resources I need. And this is the whole purpose of the Stone Vet, is to actually go out and say, hey, you need the resources? I got them for you. Let me show you what I got. Let me show you what I can provide for you. I really appreciate you coming on and doing this show with me and just taking some time out of your day to talk about what you're doing and how you're helping veterans, how you're helping people in general with their nonprofits and small businesses, man. I
appreciate the opportunity, and thank you so much for having me here.
Absolutely. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Hey, guys, I appreciate you guys being with us on the Stone Vet. Like I said, Mr. Travis here, active duty Navy guy here, helping us out, getting the resources we need. Like I said, I'm going to have all his information in the description. You're going to definitely have to check out this guy's podcast. He's got resources. You're trying to get money. You're tired of working 9 to 5. Definitely something to look into. Maybe you can start your own business to help provide other resources for other people out there that need services done that you never thought you could actually provide, that could actually make you money, man. I appreciate it, Travis. Hey, you have an awesome freaking evening. Enjoy the weekend, man.
Hey, you too, brother.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it, brother. Take it easy.
I'm back on the mission, I'm frequently creeping, I'm coming to get it. Shout out to the homies that hold it down with me. You see me, I'm thugging with all of my people, gotta get it together. I'm trying to do better, whatever I'm doing. I hope that I'm winning, I'ma get it on the grind. Better recognize that I ride for my digits. I stay to myself, cause when I speak my mind, I'm misunderstood. Trying to stay positive, but it's too much negativity in the hood. The law be inside my head, thinking I'm up to no good. If you can relate to what I'm saying, then you're from my nigga the wood. Ain't stressed about that right now.